D
to the C.
Let's get it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to D
To the C.
Podcast. This is episode 3, and today we're titling this episode "Do You Believe?" Because we're going to be talking about some pretty spooky shit.
And not just made up spooky shit. It's actually things, personal experiences and things that I grew up with. So
Yeah, like personal experiences and like creepy stories we've been told. We'll
Yeah.
omit names and stuff like that, obviously.
we'll
but
omit names and places.
Yeah, and we just really wanted to make a video of like crazy and spooky shit that we've seen and heard. So
I'm
yeah.
going to try and get him to be a believer because he's
I don't necessarily want to say I'm a skeptic,
But
like a
it's-
hardcore skeptic.
but it's more, I got to see it to believe it kind of thing.
Yeah,
for you.
like, you know, nothing paranormal or spooky or anything like that ever happened to me. Like,
Yet.
I guess I want to say yet, but even with that, like, you know, this is all for the cast, you know. I don't invite anything bad.
Oh, no.
Bad toward me or anything like that. So, yeah, I guess I'll go first. The first and only, like, I want to say spooky thing that ever happened to me when I was a kid. It was just shortly after my mom passed away. I think it was about 11. I was staying in our house. My sister and my cousin were in the city or somewhere like that, and I was home alone. And I was watching Forrest Gump, and I was, you know, getting ready to sleep or falling asleep on the couch, I should say. And my hand was kind of like this on my head, and then it felt like something grabbed my hand like this. You know, like I could feel something grab my hand, and it scared the shit out of me. Like I know I told myself, you know, like you're probably just, you know, freaked out or something like that, but I felt it. I felt something grab my hand, and I immediately opened all the lights, went downstairs to make sure no one else but me was in the house. Sure enough, no one else but me was in the house. I freaked, and I ran to my uncle's house, my uncle and my auntie's house, and they were cool. Obviously, they're not going to like, now get the fuck back home, but they were like, you know, they saw how freaked out I was. I was like, I can't be there right now, you know. I explained what happened, and they were cool. They were like, yeah, go ahead, go sit, and waited until my sister and my cousin came home, and then I went home, and really that's all that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I say, like, I'm not like a fucking hardcore skeptic. I want to believe. It's just,
I don't invite it. Like, you want to believe, but you don't invite it. You want to
Yes,
believe, but you just,
exactly.
you're not going to be like, hey, come and get me.
Like, not even that, you know, like, I believe what I can see with my own eyes, feel with my own hands, and all that stuff. So in regards to paranormal stuff and ghosts and stuff like that, I only believe what I could see. Don't get me wrong, I love watching the, you know, spooky videos on YouTube and the paranormal movies, but I think I remember talking to our son. I think it was that movie The Boy, where like it was paranormal, and like, you know, she puts the doll in one side of the room, leaves, and then it's on another side of the room. And like, yeah, that's scary, but for me, I have to see it move. Like, obviously, like I'm not expecting it to like stand up and walk to the other side of the room, but like, you know, slowly nudge to the side of the room, and, you know, having to be able to go over there and, you know, examine it and see there's nothing fucking around with it, then I'd be like, okay, I believe.
Well, okay, I totally get your where you're coming from. I get your logic and stuff like that, but growing up in a home that I grew up in, like, there's no doubt in my mind that the house is haunted.
Yeah, like, and I've heard the stories of this house, and like, as I said, we stayed in there for about a month, and
Together,
and like, you know, even I've seen, you know, like lights turn off and on and stuff like that, and, you know, remembering the stories
to this very day.
Yeah, me coming up the stairs downstairs alone and everything, I get kind of creeped out because I know the stories. But again, like, I a light going off and on maybe change the light bulb, but I don't know.
That's understandable to think that. That's understandable to think like there's got to be a logical explanation for this. However, like I said, I grew up in that house. I was a young child in that house. I left home at 17. So those years experiencing everything that I experienced, from shadow people, from things being thrown at me in the middle of the night, almost the feeling of my sister levitating. This is the creepy part, is toys that had no batteries, that were turned off, were crying in the night or laughing in the night. All sorts of things. And so the house that we stayed in, to this very day, there's still experiences. And like I said, the house that I grew up in, like there's a story, there's a really, it's sad, and it's like a sad story. And I've seen firsthand ghosts, and my relatives have seen ghosts. And there was times when people put their hand right through a ghost's head. Like, this is no joke. This is no lie. I'm not trying to pull anybody's leg. This is for real. This is the things that we've experienced. And my family members can attest to this story, or to the know-how, or to the knowledge of what I'm sharing. And so that goes back to the whole question: do you believe? Like, would you believe? Do you believe?
Like, do you believe? Do you want to believe?
Yeah, like I recall bringing home friends and giving them fair warning. There's don't be surprised if you're woken up in the middle of the night. Don't be surprised at this. Don't be surprised at that. And I'm going to just go ahead and start off with one of the childhood memories that I have was after Christmas. So after Christmas, my little sister, she gets a doll for Christmas, and I'll still never forget the smell of it. It smells like that ugly, stinky rubber. And it was supposed to cry, it was supposed to laugh, and it required batteries. And I know you're probably thinking, like, well, what if it was on auto. And
like that display one.
They
that,
don't.
like,
They didn't
just
have
random
that.
says something?
Yeah, they didn't have that for that doll. This is back when I was a little kid, and I'm not gonna say my age, but there was no display mode or anything like that. And I'm gonna go just kind of go into it a little bit. And what had happened was, in the night, we heard the doll crying, and it was this rubber doll, and it was my little sister's doll, and she didn't want to hear it anymore. And so she told my mom and dad, and she was like, I don't want the doll, it just won't stop crying. So they kept it in their room. Sure enough, the doll cried again. My mom and dad woke up, they took out the batteries, and nope, the doll still cried. So they thought the on and off switch, and it was already off, and there was no batteries in it. My mom and dad getting frustrated, and what they did is they threw it downstairs. Now we had like occupants in the basement. We had like cousins and my older brother and stuff like that.
See, like, shit like that would freak me out, man. Like,
especially talking about a doll.
Yeah, like knowing that there's no batteries in it, it's off. There's no way it could be doing that.
Yeah.
And then hearing it go off, like, yeah, that would freak me out.
Well, there's more. So this same doll, like I said, there's occupants in the basement. Sure enough, the doll was crying in the basement, and that's when my parents, they decided, okay, it's time to get rid of it. Sorry, my little sister, but they got rid of the doll. Of course, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't get rid of a doll that cries, that's not supposed to, like, there's no power to the doll. There's no batteries. It's not supposed to.
Like, some stories like that freak me out too are like the pull string dolls.
Yeah.
Those ones that go off when, like, there's no way that, it's the batteries going off or the power being magically turned on or something. No, like, it physically has to get pulled out, the pull string, for it to talk, and it doing that when no one's around.
Yeah, and like a lot of people try to chalk it up with like, well, maybe the batteries are dying, or maybe there's a little bit of power going to the doll. There really wasn't. And ultimately, the doll they destroyed it, they got rid of it, they destroyed it. I don't even know exactly what happened to it, but I know the doll was gone. But that's not like the first time. That's not even like That's not even the last time anything has happened.
Like I know with us in our old house, like it's not that I could see someone standing there or I can, but it's almost like I could feel something, you know, like I I don't know, like it could just be my imagination or
Or he
something,
could
but
just miss me and just leave me there.
yeah, but like that. Well, that could be true too. It is true. Like I can't really sleep when she's not in the bed, but
But I'm always in the bed.
yeah, but like
You know.
when she gave birth to our kids and that, and like I was at home alone, I couldn't sleep. Like I had to put the TV on because like I couldn't. I can't really explain it because I'd be laying there and I just felt uneven, like literally like someone was
Uneasy?
standing there looking at me.
Yeah, and I get that feeling because I felt that too in our old house, and I'm not in like the house that you and I lived in, right? Like it's
Yeah.
the one that you and I just moved from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I'm not saying that house is haunted or anything, but there was that feeling. There was this eerie feeling. There was that feeling that something is watching you. And we never let our kids know. We would never let our kids
Oh
know.
yeah,
this.
we would never like. Did you guys feel that? Did you guys like? Because
We
we don't want to
never-
get we don't want to get the kids scared.
We
and,
never
like,
want to put fear in their heart in
Yeah.
regards to stuff like that. Like even with our house right now, like we smudge and I give my daughter kisses on her forehead to make sure she has good dreams. You know, like we have this whole routine down, just so that my kids don't feel scared. Never want them to feel scared. You know, like
Yeah.
because I know what it's like to feel scared. I shared a bed with my sister until she moved out. Like we had our own rooms and everything like that, but like I said, we shared a bed, and it was because we were scared. I was scared to sleep alone. She was scared to sleep alone. And a lot of times, like I snuck into her room or she snuck into mine. But like I said, like her and I, we shared a bed, and there was a lot of experiences that her and I like that we share actually. Like there was a time where we used to have an Noxzema bottle on our dresser that was at the foot of the bed, up against the wall, and there's absolutely no way that this Noxzema container could have fallen on the bed. Our bed was at least 4 feet away, and so sleeping in the middle of the night knowing for a fact that this bottle was on the dresser, and then like getting feeling something on the bed, turning on the light, and it's the Noxzema bottle. Like how's it
There's
possible?
no way that it could have gotten there.
Yeah, and then like there's other experiences too. For instance, when things drop out of a cupboard or out of a pantry, they drop. They don't ever go farther than like a foot or two. In my house that we are discussing that I grew up in, things wouldn't just fall out. Things would get thrown out of the pantry, and we had the pantry facing the hallway, and no doubt in my mind that it was thrown out because a loaf of bread right down the hallway.
Yeah, how could it just fall down and then roll that far?
Yeah.
Like there's no way that it could have.
Or there was another time too. I was babysitting my cousins, and my sister was home with me, my older sister, and there was just me, my older sister, and my younger cousins, and we're all in the living room. We're all watching TV in the living room, and we hear do 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 downstairs. So my older sister, she sends my cousin, and he gets up, and he knows the house is haunted, but he gets up and he goes running down the stairs, and we can hear him, opening the basement door, running down the stairs, scuffling around or checking around and whatever. And he comes upstairs, and you can hear his footsteps coming upstairs, and he's like, "There's nobody here. There's just us." And all of us were all in the living room, and so we're like, "Oh, okay." And then we hear it, and we hear footsteps coming up the stairs. We scream, we freak out. We know for a fact that the basement door was closed, and all we could do is turn the lights on and huddle in the living room. And
Those I think would be the main questions. What do we do? And what can we do?
yeah, like at that time, I was about 12 years old. Yeah, I was about 12 years old. And don't get me wrong, like I know that people's imagination, children's imagination.
Especially at that point, when you're a little older, your mind can comprehend like, oh, well, it was probably just this, it was probably just that. But when you're that old, like your mind goes a mile a minute and anything's possible.
Yeah, like your imagination runs wild, and there's nothing we could have did. And so that was just, and those are just some little experiences that I experienced growing up.
Yeah, like with me, I can't say I really experienced anything. Like all the stuff that I have ever experienced were kind of debunked right away. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that I couldn't explain was the my hand getting touched like right after my mom passed away. And that was something that I couldn't, like, I don't know what, because it felt like my hand was squeezed, not just something, you know, like the blanket falling over it or something. It actually felt like my hand was squeezed, and that freaked the shit out of me. And then everything else after that, you know, seeing a shadow figure or something like that, like it was always, you know, a car going by or something like that. Because like right away I'd be like, what the fuck was that? And then almost immediately a car would go by. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, man.
But, and then there's times like literally 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago in this house that we're living in right now, and by no means am I saying this house is haunted, because I don't believe that it is.
No.
I've lived in a haunted house, so I know what that feels like. And 3 weeks ago, it was nice and about 9 o'clock in the morning. He was out of the bed already, and I had my baby son. He was sleeping in the bed with us because man, he's not even 2 years old, crawls out of his crib.
Jumps out.
Yeah, it jumps out of his crib, makes his way to our bedroom, pats his dad on the back, and crawls into bed. So he brings him to bed with us. But anyways, so he was out of the bed, and just me and my baby son were still in the bed.
And our daughter was in the bassinet right beside the bed.
Yeah, and our baby, our 4-month-old baby was in the bassinet beside the bed. And I am not even joking. I literally heard, "Good morning, Junior," in a man's voice. And my son's name is Dallas Jr.
Yeah, because she woke up. I walked into the room, and I looked at my baby. Obviously, she was up, so I was like, "Hi, baby." I said it in like my high-pitched voice when I like talking to my baby. "Hi, baby." And I grab her, get her out of the room, and give her a bottle, change her, all that stuff. And then I walk into the room to grab my phone, and she's like, "Did you just say good morning to Junior?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "I just heard someone say to Junior, 'Good morning, Junior.'" I was like, "No, I didn't." I grabbed baby and I said, "Hi, baby," and then I walked out.
And it was a man's voice. That's the thing. That's the catch, is that it was a man's voice. And I know I would have recognized Dallas's voice, but it wasn't Dallas's voice. And it was, "Good morning, Junior." And it wasn't like, "Good morning, Junior." It wasn't like that. It was, "Good morning, Junior." And I was, you know, like, what? Who could that have been? You know, like, it just makes you think.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, like that, because a little after that too, I was putting him to bed in our bed. Like, I don't know what it is about our bed, but all of our 2 youngest kids just, they fall asleep in there like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Maybe it's the fan. They like that white noise.
Yeah, it's
they like the
noise,
cool breeze.
because we always have that on.
Yeah.
And
And our room is dark, you know, like we like
Yeah.
it dark to you know, sleep
And then
comfortably.
I was putting him to bed, and he started playing peekaboo. He was putting his hands above his head, putting the blanket over his head, and then moving it and saying peekaboo. And I thought he was looking at me, but he was looking right past me and toward the door. So I thought, like, you know, maybe she was standing there playing peekaboo with him, but there was no one there. I was like, okay, weird, but you know, maybe I'm just reading too much into it or something. Like,
Yeah. And then past couple nights too, our 4-month-old baby, she randomly looks someplace and she gets really excited, and she just stares, and she gets really excited and stares, and there's nobody there.
yeah, she'll look at the door when she's laying on the couch, and she'll just be excited. She'll start,
and she
not necessarily screaming, but doing those
it's
like
like an
baby
excited
noises.
an excited, it's like kind of like a scream, but it's not. It's like
More
I
of like
can't
a
explain
laugh
it.
type thing,
Yeah.
like
And,
somewhat like the way she would do if we were playing with her. type
Yes,
thing.
yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's the noises she makes when we're playing with her. So, Dallas and I, we thought about it like, well, maybe we are having a visitor, and you know, like the holiday season, you know, being around. I know this for a fact that in the house that I grew up in, it was the house is very, very active. Special occasions, Christmas was one of the big ones that a lot of experiences happened around Christmas. A lot of paranormal experiences happened around Christmas, and like Easter and Halloween. It was always like where there was treats, it seemed like. And like, I don't think I'll go into the story on what the theory is, because that's another story. That's another thing that I kind of don't
Maybe
want to
we'll
touch
do
on.
a part 2 of the video.
Yeah, yeah, because like that's a whole other story, and it's just something that we grew up in. I mean, grew up with, the house, But yeah, like, and when I say that people have seen like full apparitions of ghosts, that's true. That's real.
It could be like, someone asking, like, well, what about that dude over there? Is he going to eat something? And then who? That guy over, what the fuck?
Yeah. Or like being a kid and hearing one of your relatives that spent the night crying and yelling from my folks, my dad, and being in the middle of the night and running to the room and seeing clothes being thrown out of the closet,
Holy
and
shit, like actual, like in front of your eyes?
Yeah, and my cousin was pointing at the closet, and he was like, he's in there, and he was throwing pointing at the closet, and when we looked, it was a little boy. There was a little boy throwing clothes out of the closet.
Holy fuck, man, like a full body apparition.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's something that would automatically make me a believer if I saw something like that, like a full bodied apparition, like, exactly what I said. I could see it with my own eyes. I see it happening. In no way am I inviting this to happen or anything. Like, I'm not looking for it
we're
to
not
happen.
but like put that out in the energy, like put that out in the universe. Like, we're not looking, definitely not looking. We're not out seeking anything.
That's the same shit with like, Ghost Adventures and those ghost hunter shows and all that shit. People ask me if I like that. No, I don't fucking like those shows. Not because they're scary, like people say. No, because I think they're absolute bullshit, man. Like, anybody can fucking go to a place and like all it is just people walking around. Did you hear that? What was that sound? And it just seems like total horse shit to me, man. And that's why I say, like, don't go out looking for something, because you never know. You may fucking find it, man.
Okay, so here's one of the things. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward to now. I believe it was 2018 or 17, and we were out with some friends, and it was before I met Dallas. Anyways, and we checked out a ghost train, and in the back of the truck, I had my camera.
Is that St. Louis one?
Yeah, St. Louis ghost train, and I remember I had a digital camera with me, and I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna just like start snapping random pictures and see if I catch anything, see if anything's there. I was not looking for it, but like you go to St. Louis ghost train, obviously you're looking for the ghost train, right?
Oh yeah, like that's one of those places where like if you're going there, you know what the fuck you're looking for.
Yeah, and then after like snapping a first picture or so, one of the other people who was with me felt something on their shoulder just in that moment. I snapped the picture, and I have the picture to this day. And what was on the picture was ectoplasm, and in the picture it's looked like a stretched body, and you can see shoulders and a head like in a stretched form. And like I still have that picture. I actually have it on my old I think it's Facebook. I think my old Facebook. But I'll show it someday. Like I gotta dig it up. I know maybe it's even on my old camera, which is weird. We literally just found my old camera, and that camera was missing for 5-6 years.
And my brother Kevin, before he passed, this was long before he passed, but he worked at the store out in my reserve, and I remember one night or one time something happened at the store that, because we all worked there, me and my cousins, and we had to look at the security cam footage, and we remember seeing this little ball. we don't know if it was a light or anything. Actually, I think that video is still up. If I find it, I'll put it up for you guys. But a little ball or orb or whatever coming into frame, coming like sideways, stopping, and then kind of like going out of frame. And we were all kind of sitting there like, okay, what the fuck was that? If that was, a piece of dust or something, like it wouldn't be able to move like that. And like we were looking around, there's no lights, there's no car lights or anything. And I think like I can't remember what was going on at the store at that point that made us look at the security footage. I think someone did break in, and that's why we were looking at them. But that was one piece of footage where we looked at it and couldn't be explained. We could like
Orbs.
Yeah, even I couldn't, and I was like, it was a light, it was this, it was that.
It
But
was
even
an
I was
orb.
like, but then again, like, I'm no experiment. I was gonna say, like, I'm no expert on this type of stuff. I didn't know shit about video editing or stuff like that. So
Like even like that's one of the fun things that we do, is we watch all sorts of videos and we're like, do you think that's real? Eh?
yeah,
Like
that's
we
the
ask each
one.
other, do you think that's
That's the
real?
one thing we do, and like me, I edit videos and I do some special effects in that, and like I look at it and nope, I have no clue if that's like if that's something that could be fake. That looks real.
Yeah. And like catching something on camera, something, unscripted, you don't even expect it to happen. Like you can't explain those. Those are real, like that's real stuff.
Yeah, like it has to be, I should say. But like again, like I say, I don't go looking for this stuff. I don't invite anything into my house. I don't want to see anything.
You totally reminded me just now. I don't know if I ever told you this, but so one of my very good friends, we were just teenagers, and there's this mall in Prince Albert, and there used to be a photo booth there, and her and her sister. No, sorry, her and her cousin, that they're like sisters, they're very, very close. But anyways, and I'm sorry I'm sharing your story. I'll check with you after to see if it's cool. But anyways, her and her cousin.
I think with names omitted and shit like that, we're gonna fucking post it.
Okay, well, anyways, because I'm still in contact with her. Anyways, her and her sister cousin, they went into the photo booth. They got their picture taken. They snapped these 4 pictures. They come out in the strip, right? And I saw this. I saw her picture. She's freaking out. Back then there was no Facebook. I think there might have been High Five, maybe MSN Messenger. I don't know, but
High five.
yeah,
man.
but I didn't have that because I was still like real naive and young to the whole internet thing. Anyways, and so she brings this picture to school, and when I saw the picture, I'm not even joking, chills just went right down my spine. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. And what it was it was a picture coming like close to me, like they're like in the booth, and they were this close. They were that close together, and right excuse me, and right there, come in one more second, like this, like right here was a face, and not just a regular face. That face was like a pig man. And I'll never, ever, ever forget that picture. This picture's for real. They sent it in to go get analyzed to see what could have made it. They thought maybe the curtain in the back. There was all sorts of things. And I remember I had a teacher that year, and he was very into paranormal things, and he, like, he used to do research on things like things that bump in the night, and like there's things like arm reaches away from you in the dark, all sorts of things
See,
like that.
I'll get me wrong, man. Like, doing research like that would be cool, but then again, like I say,
You're looking.
you're looking.
Yeah.
Don't go looking because you might find that shit.
And like, sorry, this is another side note, but that same teacher, like, he experienced some really dark stuff. Like in his apartment, like, I'm talking apparitions, I'm talking haunting. Like, he experienced some stuff, and I remember he. Now that I think about it, the whole looking for thing, research and stuff like that, like, it kind of just makes sense. But anyways, going back to what I was talking about, and my friend and that picture chilled me right up, scared me, because you can see it plain as day. It was a picture there. You can see her face, her sister cousin's face, and that man, like a pig face man in the back of them. I'll never ever forget that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that clip that we usually see on those like paranormal videos that we watch of that EVP that they recorded in that place, and it says, like, I have the body of a man but the face like a pig or something like that, and then they kind of hear a grunt, and then those of you who don't know what EVPs are, those are electronic voice phenomenon, I think it's called, and what essentially is voices of the dead, and it's used with, like, getting audio from haunted places, and they're not audible or anything when you first do it. Like, sometimes they could be on the other side of the tape, or they can be backwards. Like, it's stuff like that. But I don't necessarily want to say I've did my research on them, but I watched videos on them, and some of them are fucking freaky, man.
I bet. Like,
that's why I say, like, that's why I say, like, watching videos like that. And, like, I remember when I was a kid watching this movie called Sightings Ghost Report, or The Ghost Report, whatever it's called. If anyone knows exactly what it's called, put it down below. But that was because me and my cousins, we were sitting there watching movies, and I remember we found this one. If, like, my cousins and them, if they remember what it is, please let me know. But I always remember that one video because we found this tape, and I'm not sure if it said what was on it or anything, but we put it in, and I remember seeing Sightings and then Ghost Report, but that's all I remember. But that one tape scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, because it showed, like, EVPs, they showed pictures and stuff like that, and to this day it still kind of gives me the chills. Like, obviously I'm old enough and I'm a little bit of a skeptic, whatever, but that is one of the, like, ghost, I don't really want to say movies, but documentaries type thing that really scared the shit out of me.
Oh man, like, when you talk about things that scared you, I remember this one episode of Unsolved Mysteries, and I can never ever get that one out of my head. And it was this family was being, tormented by this sound in the night, and it was like shoo, 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 or whatever, like there was a sound on the counter or whatever, and the person goes to the kitchen and sees this little I think it was a child, and the child was sitting on the counter, and he or she, I don't remember if it was a boy or a girl, but had their finger in a glass cup, and they were shoo, 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 shoo. And I remember, like, that was one of the scary unsolved mysteries that I watched, and it was scary to me because I said it before, I grew up in a haunted house, so seeing
Stuff like that scares the shit out of you.
Yeah, it reiterates the whole fear in your bones, and the hair on your neck stands up, man.
I remember once I was a little kid. I was probably about like 12, somewhere around there. But my sister was like, have you ever watched this movie? And it was called The Changeling. It was a really fucking old movie, man. And I was like, no, I never watched it, man, which is, like, I don't want to say, like, weird for me, but, like, I like horror movies, so I try and watch, like, as much as I can. But that one, I was like, no, I haven't. And she was like, holy fuck, okay, we're going to rent it tonight, and we're going to fuck this. This is back, like, back in our day when there was fucking Blockbuster Video and shit.
VHS.
Yeah. So we went out and we found that fucking movie, man. I think we had to go to like 2 or 3 places, but we actually found it. and we took it home. We watched it. We went out in the fucking brought our bedding out into the living room and
my
watched
favorite
it.
thing to do.
Like as soon as it was done, I looked at my sister and I was like, "What the fuck, man?" Like I was immediately scared. If you haven't watched it, check it out. It's a Changeling. It's a fucking good movie.
You scared? You scared?
Yeah, we were just talking about it right now. Blockbuster. Oh my god.
Video Express. Oh my god. Oh man. Real homage. Is that what you got? Homage?
Homage.
Homage. We're gonna pay homage to
Yeah.
the whole being able to rent,
And rent movies and stuff.
Go to the video rental place. Oh, I
The 7 movies, $7 for 7 days.
7 days. Yeah.
Okay.
Aw.
So with that, I think we're gonna end this episode. And again, thank you for tuning in to D to the C podcast. If you like the video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Damned Saint, to be notified whenever we put up a video like this. And for the videos like this, I think it's going to be a regular thing every once in a while. We're going to call it Do You Believe? And we'll talk about stuff like this. Me, obviously, I'll talk about like stuff that I've heard. She'll talk about like
Things I've experienced.
real life experiences,
'Cause
because I never really experienced
I've got
anything.
so much stories. I've seen so much. I've been through so much. That being said, comment and tell us, tell me your story. Like, did anything ever freak you out? Anything chill you to the bone? Let's see. Like, I'm really intrigued. It doesn't mean I'm looking for anything. I want to hear your stories.
Yeah. It doesn't mean we're looking for anything. We're not going out there looking for ghosts or actually want anything to, happen to us. But, give us a shout. Maybe we can have you on a,
Visit.
phone interview or something,
Yeah.
Like, shoot us a comment. And, as always, thank you for tuning in with us, and we'll see you next time. Peace.